Before the video starts, I just want to say that I've started up memberships for my channel. For just $5 a month, you can get loyalty badges, exclusive early access to new videos, early replies to your comments, and several other perks. Every little bit helps this channel out a lot. Of course, watching my videos and spreading the word also helps a lot. Thank you so much for watching. There's a recently discovered tech that can help with doing instant double jumps consistently. To do an IDJ out of shield, you would usually have to double tap the jump button within a very small 4-frame window, thanks to the 3-frame jump squat animation. But with the double shield cancel, you can make instant double jumps into a strong, consistent out of shield option. First, some context. When you hold 2 shield buttons, or 1 shield and a special button, you lock yourself into your shield. You cannot roll, spot dodge, or jump. The game does recognize the inputs you're doing while you're double shielding, it just doesn't let you do those moves normally. But you can still grab by pressing attack, use the short hop aerial macro, and do up specials. If you tilt left, right, or down while holding both shield buttons, then let go of at least 1 shield button within 10 frames, you will do the roll or spot dodge like normal. If you tap or hold the jump button, then let go of a shield button within 10 frames, you'll do a jump the first frame you let go of shield. But if an opponent hits your shield while you're holding jump, it cancels the input. You'll have to press jump again to initiate the technique. This gives you the chance to do instant double jumps out of shield. When you jump, let go of a shield button within 10 frames, then jump again during the 3-frame jump squat, you'll do an instant double jump. The IDJs become frame perfect even if you don't time the jump inputs perfectly. It also creates new movement and attack options you didn't have before. Let's have a look at them. You can perform instant double jump aerials out of shield with the double shield cancel. I said earlier that you can use the short hop aerial macro out of a double shield. To convert a short hop aerial into an IDJ aerial, you just have to slide your thumb from attack to the jump button within a 4-frame window. This should let you do an aerial out of shield while getting the extra jump height. While double shielding, press jump and attack, then slide your thumb back to the jump button within 4 frames. If you have a Pro controller, you can set one shoulder button to jump. You can do the first jump input on that button instead, and then just slide your right thumb from attack to the second jump. This should result in you doing an IDJ aerial out of shield. If you only get a regular aerial, you didn't do it right. You can also do aerial up specials out of double shield. Many characters have good grounded up specials out of shield. But this gives a new option that can help with attacking faster or positioning your character somewhere else. While you're double shielding, tilt up, and just slide your thumb from jump to attack to special. This should let you cancel the short hop aerial macro into an up special. If you press attack and then up special during the jump squat, you'll cancel the jump squat into a grounded up special instead. Certain characters with bad out of shield options can make good use of this tech. You can also tilt the left stick left or right after tilting up to move yourself around and do B reverses. Double shield cancelling also makes instant item tosses easier. If you tilt forward, then press jump and attack at the same time while holding only 1 shield button, then you'll do a grounded item toss. You can do an aerial item toss with this method if you time the button presses right, but it's very tricky. Pressing jump and attack without tilting forward will make you do a Z drop. Pressing jump and attack and tilting forward while double shielding will let you toss the item in the air consistently. Based on how fast you tilt the left stick, you can do either a regular throw or a smash input throw that goes farther. Finally, there's another technique called the full hop IDJ, which is a slightly higher jump than a short hop IDJ. Using the short hop macro into an instant double jump out of a double shield will give you a short hop IDJ. But if you have tap jump on, you can do a full hop into an instant double jump. Do a tap jump, then immediately press another jump button to get the frame 1 instant double jump. This can enable some new movement options and combo opportunities that weren't there before. With tap jump, full hop IDJs can be done with or without shielding. This means you can do it anywhere on stage at any time. If you use tap jump, you may want to try this out to open up new movement options. If you don't use tap jump, you could turn it on just to see how well it works out. In one of my earliest videos, I talked about pivot cancel tilts. You run forward, tilt the left stick back, and do a tilt attack on the C stick. This lets you do a tilt attack while sliding forward. But the distance that you slide can be inconsistent. This is because when you let go of the control stick, you go into a skidding animation for several frames. But if you flick backward fast enough, you'll go straight into your pivot animation instead. There is a way to get the maximum distance for the pivot cancel consistently. It's called the boosted pivot cancel. If you do your full initial dash and let go of the left stick, you'll skid forward for a little bit until you stop. If you do your full initial dash, let go of the left stick, and then tilt it back, you'll skid and then go into your pivot animation. If you do your full initial dash and tilt the left stick back immediately, you'll go straight into your pivot animation. Both skidding and pivoting out of a run have a 5-frame window to cancel your run into an attack. Each of these scenarios gives you a slightly different sliding distance for the pivot cancel tilt. Here's how to get the maximum distance. Do your full initial dash and go into your run. Skid forward for 3 frames. Pivot on frame 4. And do a C-stick tilt attack on frame 5. There are 2 ways to do this. Flick forward, reset to neutral, flick back, and do a C-stick tilt. Flick forward, then do a quarter circle motion up or down, and stop at either up backward or down backward, then do a C-stick tilt. It's important to note that the second method will also let you do pivot cancel up smashes and down smashes. Just press A at the right time, and you'll get an up smash or down smash while facing the other direction. The 5-frame window is actually different for each character. Different characters have different numbers of frames they can skid before having to pivot. You can also do a micro dash back and forth into a boosted pivot cancel tilt, which is easier for some characters to do than others. Please be aware that this only works with tilt stick. If you use smash stick, it won't work. When you're in the air and you want to get back to the ground, fast falling is the quickest way to do so. When you fast fall, you can cancel out of it by doing an aerial. You'll then go back to a normal fall. In a regular match, you wouldn't have enough time to fast fall again after the aerial, since you land on the ground very shortly afterwards. At least, that's what the game wants you to think. But what if I told you there was a way to double fast fall? First, some context. When you jump in the air, you go into this jumping arc where you stay at the same height for 4 to 5 frames. When you do a regular fast fall at any point of this arc, you'll take the same number of frames to land, no matter when you start fast falling. But, if you hold the left stick down during your entire jump, reach the arc, and then press and hold the C stick, you'll do an aerial and then fast fall on the 4th frame of the attack. This is called an auto fast fall. This is a crucial part of the double fast fall. However, you cannot use this technique with neutral airs or down airs. If you flick the C-stick as fast as possible, you may be able to fast fall on frame 2 of your aerial instead of frame 4. You can also hold down forward or down backward after fast falling to drift in those directions when you do the aerial. This helps you perfectly space your aerials out of a fast fall. When doing a double fast fall, you need to press and hold the left stick down during the jump arc. After that, you press and hold the C stick to do an aerial, and you also keep the left stick held down the whole time. The first fast fall will be cancelled by the aerial, but then the auto fast fall kicks in and makes you fast fall again. This is what makes it a double fast fall. For many characters, this is the quickest way to do a perfectly spaced aerial. You can do a double fast fall out of a short hop and a full hop. You can also use double fast falls after running off platforms. But you can't use it with aerials that last so long that you would need to start them before reaching your jump arc. With those aerials, you're better off with a normal fast fall. When you do a dash and buffer an option at frame 5 or later, the option will come out at frame 15 of your dash every time. This applies to both forward and back dashes. But with backdashing, you may want to get away from the opponent and still buffer an attack in the direction you were facing. The only option that works is forward tilt. Up tilts, down tilts, and jabs will keep you facing the wrong way. You can do a backdash, tilt up backward to do a pivot on frame 22, and input a tilt attack on frame 23. However, this is 8 to 9 frames slower, further away from the opponent, and requires a frame-perfect tilt input after the pivot. But there is a way to buffer frame-perfect up and down tilts out of a backdash on frame 15 that lets you face the opponent. They're called buffered reverse tilts. You do a backdash, then immediately tilt up back or down back in the opposite direction at very specific angles, then press attack. When I say specific angles, I mean just 1 to 2 degrees off from the diagonal notches on the GameCube controller. This tech won't work if you use the notches, as you'll do a forward tilt instead. You don't necessarily have to use a backdash, as this tech works in any scenario. Another great use case is out of spot dodge cancel. You can spot dodge and immediately buffer a reverse tilt. You can also turn away from the opponent with this tech if your up or down tilt hits behind you. This tech also works great out of a parry, as you can quickly punish aerial multi-hits that you couldn't otherwise. Buffered reverse down tilts also work well out of fast fall, including double fast falls, which I talked about in a previous video. When you do a fast fall aerial, just tilt the left stick at the same downward angle as when you do a reverse down tilt, and then do a C-stick aerial. When you hit the ground, buffer the down tilt while still holding the diagonal down input. If the opponent is at low percent, this can work great as a combo. I should also mention that you can use the C-stick to do buffered reverse tilts too. Just tilt the C-stick at the same angles that you would tilt the left stick, and it should work. Finally, you don't need to worry about this tech for characters with auto turnaround, as they'll always face the opponent in 1v1s. When you grab the ledge and use any of your typical get-up options, you'll have a certain period of intangibility that prevents the opponent from hitting you. But if you drop down and grab the ledge a second time, you won't have any intangibility. This creates a 22-frame window where you can be hit during the ledge regrab animation. And when you do a ledge get-up option this time, you'll have less intangibility than if you only grab the ledge once. Though all your get-up options still have frame 1 intangibility, which can help if you buffer a get-up option right after regrabbing ledge. To force the opponent to regrab the ledge, you can ledge trump them and force them to recover low. Or the opponent could regrab the ledge on their own if they're trying to stall. Then, when they regrab the ledge and try buffering a get-up option, you can just cover this spot at the ledge with a lingering hitbox. If you're able to keep a hitbox out for at least 15 frames when the opponent gets up from a regrab, you will most likely hit them. Ledge jumps go from a 2-frame punish window to 4 frames. This becomes 5 frames if the character has a frame 2 air dodge, and 6 frames if they have a frame 3 air dodge. Ledge getup goes from 1 frame to 6 frames, which is a big difference. Ledge attack loses intangibility 3 frames before the attack comes out. Ledge roll loses 5 frames of intangibility. Different characters have different intangibility frames and travel distances, so you may want to try spacing your punish options differently depending on the matchup. The most important thing in competitive Smash Bros., or indeed any fighting game, is picking your main character. There are many factors that go into choosing your main, whether it's a character's visual design, their personality, or their moveset, among many others. But compared to traditional fighters, Smash Bros. Has unique factors of its own that influence a player's character selection. Here are some of the most important factors in choosing a main in Smash Bros. If you want to win at tournaments, it's imperative that you pick one character that you want to get good with. All the top-level players that you hear so much about, like the 4 Horsemen of Ultimate, are known for having one character that they excel with in tournaments. Sometimes you'll see a player use more than one character to cover their main's bad matchups. But in general, you will think of one primary fighter that player uses when they compete in tournaments. Generally, it's recommended that you play a high-tier or top-tier character to have the best chance of winning a tournament. But in a game as well-balanced as Ultimate is, you probably won't have too bad of a time even if you pick a low-tier character over a high-tier. You might even be able to cause upsets against someone playing a higher-tier fighter than you if you can outplay them well enough. And if you play your cards right, you could become the next Horseman of Ultimate, or an underdog hero using a character that no one expected to do well. On the other hand, if you're not playing to win, but just playing to enjoy the game at parties or other kinds of group gatherings, then you can pick whatever character you want. Play as many different characters as you wish if that's what you find fulfilling. Smash Bros. Was made to cater to all kinds of gamers, both competitive and casual. If you're one of those people who likes spamming Kirby down B, or just wants to fool around in free-for-alls and wreak havoc with items, more power to you. It is a game after all, and what's the value in a game if you're not having any fun with it? That being said, can there be any overlap between characters you play to win and ones you play for fun? Yes, there certainly can be. Maybe you started out as a casual free-for-all player who loves items but came across a video of a tournament match one day and decided you wanted in on the action. You might already be a high-level competitive player who wants to take a break from competing for a bit and just wants to turn their brain off with some casual matches. Or you could be a troll on Elite Smash who just stays in the corner and camps all day. Everyone plays the game the way they want to, and Smash can be enjoyed in all sorts of ways. If you're still unsure about who you want to play, you can watch VODs of players in tournament matches and see which character appeals to you the most. Smash Ultimate has been out for over 5 years. You're sure to find at least a few videos of every character in a competitive setting. Smash has a unique circumstance of being one of the biggest gaming crossovers ever. Every fighter comes from a different game and franchise, and Smash fans all have their own lists of who they want to see join the battle the most. I've also got my own list of most wanted fighters right here, if you're interested. So when a character that you've wanted for a long time finally does get into Smash, you may want to main them based on that alone. And if they do click with you and you really love playing them, then you're golden. However, sometimes that doesn't work out. The character you wanted may have a playstyle that you don't like. You might find their animations or voice clips to be annoying. Take this! Take this! Take this! Take this! Or you just don't like their fashion sense. Whatever the reason, you might end up not liking a character that makes it into Smash, even if you really wanted them for a long time. And that's okay. Smash Ultimate has plenty of characters to choose from. It's not the end of the world. Just try out other characters until you find one that really clicks with you. If you're committed to playing the game long term, you will find one eventually. Smash is a platform fighter, meaning that running and jumping around the stage are the most important parts of the gameplay. Its basic mechanics are very different from traditional fighters where both characters always face each other in a small enclosed arena. In a platform fighter, movement is king. On that note, characters that can run and jump around the stage faster generally perform better than slower ones. It could be their natural parameters like their running speed, jump height, and airspeed, or they could have good burst movement options that can catch the opponent off guard. For example, Mario is considered much better than Dr. Mario because regular Mario has actually good mobility and a subsequently better combo game and recovery. No, seriously, Dr. Mario's recovery is one of the worst in the game. Just look at this shit right here. On the other hand, characters that don't really have good mobility can make up for it in other ways. They might have good disjointed moves by using melee weapons. They could have a bunch of projectiles that you can charge up and or spam to keep the opponent out. Or they could have an insane combo game that takes an entire stock in just one interaction. Do you like up-close bare-knuckle brawls, mid-range sword fights, or long-range gunfights? Do you like grabbing the opponent and slamming them on the floor, or throwing them around? Or do you like insane comeback mechanics or crazy gimmicks that totally break the rules of the game? There are many attributes to consider when picking a character, so think about what kind of playstyle or attack patterns you enjoy most. With so many characters to choose from, you might think that playing just one character is a waste. And that sentiment does have value. In a game with 89 fighters, you could be tempted to try out multiple characters to maximize your enjoyment. But when it comes to competitive play, I strongly advise picking just one character to be your one true main. Maybe have a co-main or secondary to cover your bad matchups. If you start playing too many characters at once, you might spread yourself too thin between them all and not actually learn how to optimize any of them. Spending a lot of time with just one or two characters will let you really dig deep into the nuances of their movesets. You'll come to learn their best combo routes, the best uses of each normal and special move, and what options you have at any given moment. It's the old breadth versus depth argument. I would rather perform well with one character I've sunk 100 hours into than 10 characters that I've only put 10 hours each into. If you're somehow able to play a majority of the roster at a really high level and can just go random and still win 90% of the time, then congratulations, you are a f***ing freak. But even if you're not a freak and you just play a small handful of characters, nothing's stopping you from switching mains if you ever feel the need to. Many top-level players have gone through multiple characters over the course of their careers. Look at Tweak, for example. He used to be a Bowser Jr. main back in Smash 4 before switching to Cloud and Bayonetta. Then he played a bunch of characters in Ultimate's early life, like Pokemon Trainer at EVO 2019's Grand Finals. Today, he mains Diddy Kong, and he's doing pretty well with him. Speaking of top players, you might want to play a certain character just because they do. But if you ask me, it's better to find a character that clicks with you specifically. No two players of a character are exactly the same. Find your own groove and stick with it. In Smash Bros., controlling the pace of the match is crucial to winning. And the best way to control the pace of the match is to control the stage. The most obvious way of doing this is by sending the opponent off stage and preventing them from recovering. But even when the opponent is on the stage, you want to keep them on their toes and not let them move around the way they want. In general, the best place to be is at center stage, on the stage's main ground. This area gives you the lowest chance of being sent off stage by an opponent's stray attack. The closer you are to the stage's corners, the more likely you are to be sent off stage. It's also more favorable for you to be below the opponent instead of above them, as being below them gives you more options to attack them. So being on an elevated soft platform is considered less favorable than being on the main ground, which is a hard platform. If you're able to hit the opponent onto a platform and they miss the tech, then you would likely want to land on the platform as well to extend your combo, or at least hit them with a quick aerial to send them flying. Bottom line, try to stay on the center stage's main ground as much as possible. While both players are moving around the stage, you'll want to control the opponent's movement as much as you can. As mentioned previously, the best way to do that is to force the opponent to recover from too far away so they lose a stock. But on stage, you want to make the opponent play the game at your pace. This will heavily depend on the remaining stocks each player has, who has the higher damage percent, and how much time is left. If you have more stocks than the opponent, then you'll want to stay at center stage, or at least somewhere far away from the opponent, and force them to approach you. You can charge up a projectile, if you have one, or you can camp in a spot away from the opponent and throw out projectiles all day, even if you can't charge them. Even if you don't have any projectiles or any way of charging up or accumulating resources, you can still use your mobility to run circles around the opponent if your character is fast enough. The opponent will then have to run towards you to progress the match, while also having to avoid whatever projectiles or items you throw at them. But if your character is slow and doesn't have anything to charge up, then you're going to have a rough time. For characters like this, patience is key. Another option is to stay in a corner of the stage voluntarily so you can make the opponent come to you and throw them off stage more easily. But you could also get thrown off stage more easily if you do this, so be careful. On the other hand, if you're at a stalker percent disadvantage, you'll have to approach the opponent to try and take their stocks. The flow of the match and the best decisions on what you should do and where you should go change throughout the match. Pay attention to if you're winning or losing and adjust your movement accordingly. Sometimes the best movement option is to just not move at all. In addition to moving around the stage, throwing out attacks is another way to control the stage. Many characters have projectiles that travel straight ahead, and which are good for long-range sniping. The opponent wants to avoid these projectiles by jumping, rolling, dodging, or shielding. You could also attack with a projectile or melee attack of your own, reflect the projectile, or absorb it in a few select cases. This is the most basic instance of a push and pull between players. One player throws out a projectile or attack to control the stage and pressure the opponent, while the other player responds in a way they think best fits the situation. Of course, there's much more to play in the game than just these single interactions. For example, the opponent could immediately run in and grab you after you respond to their projectile. But this is a good starting point in understanding how to control the stage and the pace of the game. Just don't get careless by throwing out these attacks with no rhyme or reason. The opponent can see what you're doing and punish you for it afterwards. Smash is a game all about positioning and movement. If I had to sum it up with one phrase, it would be that Smash is a king of the hill type of game. You want to be the last man standing on the stage at the end of the match, and all the tools you have are meant to help with that end goal. So make sure you use everything at your disposal to come out on top. So my last Smash Ultimate guide was about controlling the stage. In that video, I talked about using your movement and attacks to control the surrounding terrain and your opponent's movement. But there was one thing I did not cover which I'd like to go over now. And that's passive item play. Several characters have items that can stay on the field for prolonged periods of time. These items have all sorts of properties, but they all have hitboxes that are designed to get in your way, one way or another. These kinds of items can be more annoying and dangerous to deal with than projectiles you just shoot, because you have to keep track of them long after they spawn onto the field. Usually, you only need to keep track of the opponent and their movement around the stage. But when you throw items into the mix, you suddenly have to keep track of 2, 3, or 4 different places on the stage at once. The more items you have to keep track of, the more straining it gets on your short-term memory in the heat of a match. The first category of passive items I want to go over is boomerangs. You throw out a boomerang, and it comes back to you. It's easy to block or avoid the boomerang's incoming hit when the owner throws it at you, but it can be surprisingly tricky to avoid the return hit when the boomerang comes back to its owner. This is because the opponent is already doing other things after they throw out the boomerang, so your attention is likely more focused on them instead of the boomerang. You have to keep track of when the boomerang comes back so you can evade the return hit as well. Otherwise, it will hit you and cause just enough hit stun to let the opponent do a follow-up attack. While the boomerang's return hit doesn't kill by itself, it will let the opponent extend their combos that potentially can kill, depending on how much damage they do. If you're the one throwing the boomerang, then you want to keep the opponent distracted and in place so they do get hit by the boomerang's return and you get the follow-up combo. You can use your other moves to trap the opponent and not let them move around. The next category I want to discuss is sitting duck items. These are items that can be either thrown around or planted on the ground, and which can be used to combo into a character's stronger attacks. Examples include Rob's Gyro, Diddy's Banana Peel, Bowser Jr.'s Mecha Koopa, Pac-Man's Hydrant, etc. What makes these items dangerous is their passive hitboxes that stay active for as long as they're in play. For example, if Rob leaves an active gyro on the ground, or if Diddy leaves a banana peel on the ground, then you need to take care not to blindly run into them. Gyro deals multiple hits with low damage and decent hit stun, which can let Rob follow up with other attacks like down tilt or grab combos. Banana peel trips the opponent, which lets Diddy follow up with other attacks like down tilt or his smash attacks. Bowser Jr.'s Mecha Koopa walks around the stage and deals low damage and diagonal knockback if it hits you, which can lead into strong aerial follow-ups. These are just a few examples. If you're avoiding these items, you want to know where they are at all times so you don't get caught by their hitboxes. Even if you try to pick up the item yourself, you should make sure the opponent doesn't do anything to hit you while you're doing so. And if the item has a hitbox while on the ground, you want to make sure you don't get hit while picking it up. If you're the one throwing the item, use it in ways that trap the opponent into moving around the way you want, so you can catch them right where you want them. The third category of passive items I want to cover is explosive items. Smash has no shortage of these, from the three Links and their bombs, Banjo's rear egg, Peach and Daisy sometimes pulling out bob-ombs, Snake's entire f***ing character. Their purpose in battle is self-explanatory. You plant them somewhere on the stage, and they explode sometime later, either on their own, or when something triggers them. But not every explosion is the same. Some explosions deal relatively low damage and knockback, which makes them good for combos, while others are lethal and meant to KO you outright. Depending on how many of them are on the stage at a time, you need to keep track of where they are and how much time you have left before they explode. Snake can be especially troublesome to deal with because of the sheer number of explosives he can have out on the field at once. He can have 2 grenades, a C4, and a Nikita missile out on the stage all at the same time. The grenades come out frame 1 and explode in Snake's hand if he gets hit, making them frame 1 combo breakers. They also have a very short timer if they're thrown onto the stage, meaning you have to either run away or throw them back as fast as possible. Not to mention, hitting a grenade with an attack makes the same sound as hitting Snake with that same attack, which is deceptive sound design that can throw off the opponent if Snake and the grenade are next to each other. The Nikita missile is remote-controlled and is an insane edge-guarding tool with plenty of speed and kill power. And the C4... don't even get me started on this one. It's incredibly small and comes out with little to no visual or audio cues. It only blinks red for a very short time, Snake can attach it to the opponent's body, and the explosion is powerful enough to kill you off the top. On top of that, the explosion hits below platforms. Like, what the actual fuck? Sorry, this turned into an anti-Snake rant for a minute. Can you tell I hate him? Bottom line, fighting a good Snake is like navigating a literal minefield. You have to stay on your toes and pay attention to so many different parts of the screen, it's mind-boggling. At the very least, explosive items can harm the opponent with their explosions as well, so you can use that to your advantage if you play smart enough. All of these items can be turned against the opponent if you have the right tools. Boomerangs can be reflected or pocketed. Sitting duck items can be reflected, pocketed, or picked up and thrown back. And explosives can be reflected, pocketed, picked up and thrown back, or absorbed. Just be aware of the risks these items pose if you guess wrong, or if you take too long to pick them up. The opponent can take advantage of that moment and punish you for it. Smash Brothers has many kinds of items, and passive items that stay out for a while can be the trickiest to deal with. If you're fighting against a character that uses these kinds of items, remember to pay attention to both the item and the opponent's location. The more items that are on the field, the more imperative it becomes to pay attention to all of them. You can use the opponent's items against them if you pick them up, but be careful about their hitboxes. If you're the one using these items, try to keep the opponent's attention on the items so you can punish them. Use all the tools you have to come out on top.
Game! Little
That a little too easy for you, son.
Have you ever wanted to hard punish the opponent with a forward smash, but you end up barely missing them by a few pixels? Here's a way to rectify that problem. It's called the small step forward smash. This is a very simple tech. You take the input for a forward smash and just add a small delay between flicking the left stick and pressing A. This should let you do a forward smash after you do a small dash forward. You still have to input the A press very quickly, because delaying it too long will give you a dash attack instead. You have 5 frames to input the forward smash after dashing in either direction. You can't really do this out of a dash dance because you use up your 5 frames on the turnaround animation. If you want to angle your forward smash out of a small step, you should do the A press and then angle it up or down. This is mostly good for microspacing your smash attack in situations where you need just a bit of extra distance to hit the opponent. This option also works best with smash attacks that have fast startup and good range. But considering how fast shields can be put up, you might want to go for a different option instead. A little over a year ago, I published a video about how to tech and smash ultimate. It's one of my most viewed videos now, so thank you very much. I tried to cover all the different ways you can tech. But there was one type of tech I forgot to include, which I'd like to go over now. It's where you tech out of directional air dodges. You have to be in the mid-air tumble animation for this to work. When you do a neutral air dodge or directional air dodge into the ground out of tumble, you can do a tech if you touch the ground before frame 15 of your air dodge animation. If you do it right, you'll do a tech on the ground. You can choose what tech option you want to do by buffering that option right after you land. So you can do a neutral air dodge into a tech in place, or a tech roll in either direction. You can also do a directional air dodge into a tech in place, or a tech roll in either direction. I should also talk about wall techs, since air dodges affect them too. Unlike regular floor techs, wall techs only work for a short time after you're put into tumble. If you wait too long, you won't do a wall tech at all. The air dodge window for a wall tech is the same, so touching the wall before frame 15 of your air dodge should still work. And you should still be able to do either a wall tech or a wall tech jump right afterwards. Stop double jumping out of disadvantage. This is a common mistake from a lot of lower level players. You get caught by an opponent's attack, you get sent flying, and you immediately double jump into the stage to try and escape the rest of the combo. But against better opponents, this panic double jump just sets you up for more punishes. One universal tip I have for Smash players is that you should not throw out attacks where the opponent is right now. You should throw out attacks where you think the opponent will be. And panic double jumps are some of the easiest actions to read with an aerial or a special move. Once you send the opponent into the air, you can anticipate that they'll do a panic double jump right after. Jump into the air after them and throw out an aerial or a special move. If you time it right, you should hit the opponent out of their double jump and put them in an even worse situation than before, especially if they're off stage. But what if you're the one doing the panic double jump? Your best option is to just do something else. You can stay in tumble and tilt left or right to fall somewhere else. You can do an aerial and fast fall to land faster. You can even double jump without holding in. Either go straight up or hold out to avoid the opponent's punish. Double jumping while holding in is what makes these punishes so easy to do. Of course, the opponent could read those other options too, depending on the actions you previously took in that same situation. The most important thing is to mix up your options and not be predictable. Panic double jumping is one of the most predictable and easily punished options you can do. Some attacks in Smash deal damage to their owners. This is called recoil damage. Only some characters have this trait, and only a few attacks per character are capable of it. This kind of damage can hurt you even if you're currently invincible or intangible. This is not the same thing as being hurt by your own explosive item, as explosions can't get past invincibility or intangibility. The one character most defined by recoil damage as a mechanic is Pichu. So many of its attacks, mainly its electric ones, deal a few points of recoil damage each time they're used. In general, you should try to avoid excessively using attacks with recoil damage, especially if you're playing a lightweight like Pichu. On the other hand, you may be able to use recoil damage to your advantage. The rage mechanic increases the knockback of your attacks when you're at higher damage percents. You could use recoil damage to intentionally increase your own damage and subsequently increase your own knockback on all your attacks. This could help you land a surprise comeback when the opponent least expects it. But this won't work well with lighter weight characters since they die much earlier than heavier fighters. Pichu is especially fragile since he's the lightest character in the game. That combined with his constant recoil damage makes him a true glass cannon. In Smash Ultimate, recoil damage is affected by the 1v1 multiplier, but not the short hop multiplier or multipliers from other sources. Despite recoil damage only being present on a few characters, there is one way that everyone can damage themselves. You know when your character is past the screen border, but not quite at the blast zone, and they can only be seen in this little magnifying glass. Staying in this hoop will make you start accumulating extra damage at a rate of 1% per second, or 1.2% in 1v1s. This type of damage will stop at 150%. This happens to every fighter, so characters that can take better advantage of rage could use this strategically, assuming they can recover. Characters with 100% comeback mechanics can also benefit from this, if they're at 99%. Lastly, characters with explosives can damage themselves to potentially aid their recoveries and increase their damage, which can help add more rage. This is not recoil damage, but it does still help some characters kill earlier. In general, you want to avoid taking too much damage so you don't get killed by powerful attacks. But sometimes you can use extra damage to your advantage and catch the opponent by surprise. There's a way for you to cancel your neutral tech into whatever action you want. It's called the ledge slip tech cancel. When you go into your tumble animation, use a directional air dodge towards the edge of a platform or the ledge of the stage. Then, you should do a neutral tech the moment you land. If you do it right, you'll slide off the ledge and immediately be able to act out of your tech. It has to be a neutral tech, so it's very important you reset the left stick to neutral as fast as possible after the directional air dodge. Every character can do this technique, but some will have an easier time than others. You could also use this tech slightly farther away from the edge depending on your horizontal velocity when you reach the platform. The best times to use this tech are when you want to do a quick reversal on the opponent, or when you're trying to escape disadvantage, especially if you've already exhausted your double jump. There are many things that can go wrong when you try it, so practice and make sure you get the timing on the inputs down. If you miss the neutral tech with either a tech roll or just falling out of an air dodge, then you'll leave yourself wide open to punishes. Instant double jumping is a simple but effective way to add more nuance to your jumping movement, open up more combo routes, and take advantage of full hop aerial damage more often. Instant double jumps give all characters a different maximum jump height between a full hop and a full hop plus a double jump. The moment you press the jump button, press another jump button to do a double jump right above the ground. To put it another way, you should buffer a double jump during your character's 3-frame jump squat. There are a lot of ways to input this tech. You can double tap one jump button, you can use tap jump as either the first or second jump, or you can use a shoulder or trigger button as an extra jump button. If you do it right, you should see the particle effects for a double jump come out right above the ground. This technique can help you do full hop aerials more consistently, as there's no way to turn off the short hop macro. But on that note, make sure you don't press the 2 jump buttons too quickly, because the game could mistake that for the short hop macro. For the most consistency, you should let go of the first jump button immediately, and then press the second one. So how do you use this tech? One way is to use more aerials in a single instance of airtime. Some aerials can only be used once per short hop or full hop, but you can use those aerials twice with an IDJ. If a specific aerial has a late auto-cancel window which you can't get with a short hop or full hop, then you can hit that window with an IDJ. The biggest drawback is that this does use up your double jump, so try not to get sent off stage, or else you'll have a hard time making it back. Edge hopping is a simple but flexible way to get back onto the stage if you're looking for more ledge get-up options. While hanging at the ledge, you just tilt down or back on the left stick, then immediately double jump. Compared to other ledge options, this lets you get back to the stage with many more attack and evasion options available to you at once. You can do any aerial attack or special move while getting back to stage. You can also re-grab the ledge, but you'll quickly lose intangibility frames by doing this. You also cannot grab the ledge at all after 6 consecutive grabs. You can also wall jump if the stage's shape allows it. You can also air dodge to the stage after jumping to try and land faster. If you time your jump and air dodge just right, you may be able to immediately land and act on the ground faster than any other ledge get-up option. This requires good positioning and timing, so it may not be worth it if you're not confident in your movement. The biggest drawback to this tactic is that the opponent can read your edge hop and send you off stage again, but this time without your double jump. If your character has a bad recovery without their double jump, you're pretty much done for. So it's best to keep this recovery option in mind as just another one you can use in addition to everything else. Hi there, thanks for watching this video. If you made it this far, I really appreciate you watching until the end. Watching my videos and spreading the word to people you know would really help this channel a lot. I would very much appreciate a follow or a sub on Twitch, where I'm streaming at least once a week. I'm also streaming on YouTube at least once a week, so subscribing and joining the channel as a member would also help a lot. I'll always leave updates on my YouTube community tab about when and what I'm streaming. Thanks again for watching. I greatly appreciate your viewership. See you next time.